So then, if this is the case, it looks like we've got a quorum at least. So why don't we call the meeting to order at 7:05 officially?
Got it.
And let me say, wow, it seems like it's been forever. Also, at the same time, it feels like it's still April for some reason, or May. So yeah, time has stopped having any meaning, but it's wonderful to see everybody, and I appreciate the chance to get back in here and actually do something that seems normal.
Oh, there says roll call. Do you see
We already did that.
Okay, just checking. I just want to know.
No, but she's saying that there's somebody on the line that says call to order and it says roll call. So
I know, but we already did the call to order, so that's why it's checked, I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see.
Okay, I'm going to write everybody down now.
This is the
You have
WROK.
to do the roll call now that you've called the meeting to order.
Okay, thank you.
Interesting. So, well, yeah, we started out with saying, so Patrick is out then, obviously. And, Max is in class. Sergeant Tykow, I do not see him on here, but he's ex-officio, so he's not technically a member. So one of the things that we should circle back to near the end when it comes to new business then is talk about openings. We don't have to do that now, but given the fact that we've had some turnover, we should talk about what the procedure is moving forward to sort of fill in our gaps. So, all right then. Did everybody get the agenda and the notes from before?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. There is one thing that I would like to put on the record for the notes for the June 2nd one. There's only one change that I would have, and that would be at the end of it when we talk about the next meeting, it says Tuesday, June 2nd.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know if we should change it.
I don't know. I don't know if we have to enter that into the record that, it says June 2nd, but we meant August 2nd or 6th. In the June 2nd meeting minutes.
Okay, it says June.
It says next meeting is Tuesday, June 6th.
Okay, so it's August 6th.
August 6th.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we have that on the record.
Okay. Well, can I ask that? So our minutes technically said we were going to be on the 4th, but we didn't realize that it was the voting day. So can I change it to the 6th?
August 6th.
Can we change it to August 6th? That really technically wasn't the minutes.
No, I'm saying on the minutes that went out for June 2nd, in section 3, new business, section A, so 3A, it says next meeting is Tuesday, June 6th. I just want to make sure that we got that noted.
Okay, wait, I'm asking you, wait, hang on. So our minutes stated that it was August 4th. I got it that I got the month wrong, but it was August 4th, but then it was voting day. So now we're on the 6th. Can I change the minutes to just reflect that?
I would say so, because that was the intent all along, is just to say when the next meeting was. I just want to make sure.
Change. All right, so
June 2nd, 3A.
Yep. So we need
to August 6th.
A motion to accept the minutes with the change to August 6th.
I motion to accept the minutes with the exception.
Okay.
All right. We have
A second that.
second from Judy. All in favor of accepting the change to the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. With no exception.
You missed the public comment because you went right from the agenda into the minutes.
Oh, we forgot. We're supposed to approve the agenda first.
Yeah.
But you went right into the minutes from that.
Okay, so we have to go back to the agenda.
Yep.
It makes sense. But it's just a matter of record for you that there was no public comment called in.
Got it. All right, then if that's the case, then let's backtrack for a second. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as is that went out for August 6th, 7 o'clock? Did everybody get a chance to look at this?
Motion to approve the agenda is written.
All right, Cynthia, for first, can I get a second?
I can second it.
All right, Eileen. All right, all in favor of accepting approving the agenda for tonight? Say aye.
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 All right.
Going out of
If there's no objection, the agenda is approved.
order. No public comment.
And I don't believe there was any, submitted questions, and I don't think anybody else is online. Yeah, no public comment tonight. Although
Hello, Shelby.
we always look forward to that. Your dog wasn't here for
The
public
dog
comment?
just came back from a walk, so she's.
Oh, I thought she was here for public comment. Okay.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then yeah, let's go on to the approval of the minutes for June 2nd. Do we need a new motion now that we've backtracked on that one? Or
No, I think we're fine.
Okay.
It'll just be a little out of order.
yeah, that was the only thing that I'd noticed in here that I wanted to bring up. And let's see, Judy, Mike, pass. No, that was it. And so with Steve, since Steve was out the last time too and out this time, and we've had a fair amount of turnover as to who our ex officio officer is, I'm wondering if I should reach out to somebody at the station to find out if Steve is even still part of it or if he's moved on. We have had a fair amount of turnover, but I don't know who that would be.
Yeah, I can text Steve right now and ask him.
Okay. I mean, we love Steve. We'd love him to stick around. I just didn't know if things have changed. So.
Yeah, the last time he told me that he completely forgot. So let me see if that happened again.
That's fine. All right, then. Let's see. So you're gonna text him even if he does pop up, I'm sure he doesn't have a report, so we can skip over 5A.
Can we pop back to possible people? I have somebody I think might be good for the committee. And should I approach them and ask them if they're interested?
I would say that one, we find out if there's going to be any movement at the commissioners for the rest of the year for approving anybody, or if should we get more people in the pipeline, even if they're not going to be looking at it until November, December, or whatnot. So Judy, what do you think on that? Yes, Cynthia.
Either way, whether you have somebody that is you think is interested and appropriate, they still need to fill out the application. There's no harm, no foul of putting that application in.
Okay.
If you have somebody that you think is great.
Yeah, because I believe they keep the applications for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I definitely tell people to apply. And then how many openings exactly do we have? I'll fire off an email right now to our city clerk.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm up. I actually think I might be up. I think this is my 3rd year.
Oh, I just asked Steve if he was still part of Veterans Committee, and he said, ugh.
So he probably is.
I think that's what I thought about 6 o'clock tonight, but I'm here.
That would be Steve remembering he had a meeting. Knowing him, he's halfway through a half marathon right now. But yeah,
just for fun, add that just for fun, Dave.
But I agree. I mean, anybody that's out there, I'd much rather have more people to choose from, more people that are serious to choose from, and we can fill out the application at any time or send that around. But I know I had sent it out to a couple people, and I don't know if they signed up or not. I just don't know what the commissioner. I mean, clearly the ROK commissioners are have their hands full this year, but I'm sure that's still in the works. I'm sure. There's still some approval process going on.
Do we know, I guess maybe I should check with Judy. Should I check with Melanie? Does she keep track, or Carol keep track of who is done this year?
Actually, we should be with the minutes of turning in attendance.
Yeah,
they'll keep track of attendance, and if somebody's missed 2 times, we don't need to tell them. They'll know. But in the meantime, I'm sorry, how many openings do we have right now? I'm going to fire off an email to the clerk.
Okay,
What?
I'm not sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this would be my third year, but I am going to reapply.
Mhm.
But I just didn't know how many openings we have.
Okay, I'm gonna ask her to check that. So we're missing,
We had Mike,
yeah.
John, Cynthia, Eileen, me, 5. And I think we had 7 at one point, plus you, Judy, and Steve.
I think there was supposed to be at one point, it was either, I think it was supposed to be 10, possibly 12.
Here's what I show. You have Judy Davids, Cynthia Garrett, Eileen Harmon, David London, Max Moylan, Patrick Poulos, Michael Sherman, John Williams, and 2 vacancies that are both residents. They can be any,
They should be residents. Okay, that's important to know.
like they don't have to represent the VFW.
So it is 10. 10 is the total committee.
That seems like a weird number. There should never be, there should
you
never
know
be
why?
an even number of people on a committee. It should always be an odd number.
Because isn't one of the people I listed your student
Oh,
representative?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So they don't have a vote.
Yeah.
Right, and he can't vote. Right.
So it is 9 voting then.
Okay, so 9 committee, really, and a student.
So currently you have 2 out of the 9 open. I show.
But we don't know whether my term is up.
Does it show yet what?
Yeah, I can look at that.
Eileen, I can tell you just matter of factly that all terms end like December 31st.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Your term wouldn't end like in the middle
Oh,
of.
no. I wanted to know if I should fill out an application again. I think I
Oh,
still have
yes.
to fill out an application again
Oh.
to be reappointed onto the committee.
Yeah, they'll do those reappointments like in December.
Yeah, Eileen,
Oh, okay.
so Eileen, term ends on December 31st. Dave ends on December 31st. The one that's vacant ended on December 31st. And those are so you 2 and then one of your vacancies. So like if you appointed somebody now, they would serve until the end of the year and then have to be reappointed that vacancy.
That'd be so.
And Melanie does send out a letter telling you that your term is up and asking you if you're interested in being reappointed or not. So
Okay.
we'll get that.
So are you saying that we should or should not reapply using the application process?
No, she said Melanie's gonna let us know.
Okay, got it.
Carol,
Yes.
do you think that we should ask Melanie about filling the one position of our person that moved to California?
Well, you already have 2 vacancies, so
Okay.
Fill 'em.
it can be tenuous and you're coming into one of your busy seasons. The issue is going to be that the appointments committee is going to have to schedule a meeting. So I would reach out to Melanie sooner rather than later. 'Cause she's
Okay, I'm gonna send her an email right now and ask
Okay.
her if she can have them fill our 2 vacancies.
Okay.
So because she's going to have them meet and then the city commission has to okay it. So
Yeah.
if you know people who are interested, you should have them fill out the applications like now. They can go on our website and fill them out
Do
now.
they have to be Royal Oak residents? That was my next
Yeah,
question.
so I show the 2 vacancies as both being resident vacancies.
Okay, all right.
So if we had a VFW but not here, or American Legion but not here, and does the residency count as if they have their business here, but they don't live here, or does it have to be a residential?
It says resident, not business representative, so I would interpret it that way, but you should really ask Melanie for that.
Okay.
Okay.
I wonder. I got to talking to Elvira's daughter, who we met at that our little drive-by happy birthday thing, and she had hinted at possibly doing more with the community. So I don't know if Linda is interested in it, but
Linda,
Yeah.
Linda lives in Ann Arbor, though.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
She
Gotcha.
couldn't be part of the committee even if she
Okay.
wanted to be.
All right. No.
Unless she
okay.
belongs to our VFW or something like that.
Got it. Okay. No, I
But
thought.
maybe Cliff, we can get Cliff to come. He's got plenty of energy.
He does. So. All right, then. Well, if that's the case, then let me run through my my report really quick. So I did reach out to Linda about whether or not Clifford would be our Grand Marshal again, and I know that they have said in the past that yes, he's still gung ho about it, but I just wanted to make sure that he was good, health wise and whatnot. I have not heard back yet, but
I'll text her right now. I'm sure he wants to be part of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. The only thing I can imagine that, would stop him is if there was a health issues, but I mean, he seems, he's kind
No, he won't have health issues. There would have to be like a bomb or something go off to stop him. Trust me. He'll die. We'll all die before he'll die.
Exactly. Yeah, I just want to nail that down to make sure that, that Clifford would be our Grand Marshal. And I've also reached out to a friend of mine. He was with FCA. He did a lot of work for FCA, and knows a lot of the Jeep groups that not the ones that climb over stuff, but like the big classic, the Willys, the World War II looking ones. I would love to have Clifford be our Grand Marshal in a legit classic World War II style Jeep. So I'm trying to see if he would essentially donate that for a day or drive him in there. So yeah, if we can get a classic World War II era Willys Jeep to put the Grand Marshal stuff on there, I think that would be appropriate. And so I'm pushing for that one. I don't want to put him in a modern Wrangler or something like that. It would either on a parade float or actually in a classic vehicle like that. So, all right. The other thing, and this is largely for us on the sponsorship subcommittee, I did update both the one-pager document for the 2021 fundraiser as well as the full deck that was the multi-page one. And we can discuss the levels. I think we may actually want to pump it up a little bit more than what we had talked about last time. But I did update those with some new verbiage, with some new imagery and everything like that. So whenever we have another, when we're feeling we want to reach out to somebody locally, I know we had said that healthcare, that like Henry Ford was going to be out because if we don't tie it directly back to healthcare, they're going to be kind of so I do have new versions, new PDFs of both the single one-pager as well as the larger pitch deck for that. And I can circulate those as early as tonight or tomorrow or something. But I know we had talked about last time, let me see, it said Beaumont Research said they'd only give if the money had a health tie-in. I do have a message here last time, a note saying something about Maureen Elliott and government relations. Does anybody remember what that one was about? I couldn't remember.
What? So Maureen asking her about sponsorship or something?
Yeah, I had her under my notes for under the notes for sponsorship.
Yeah,
Maureen Elliott, government relations, and I don't know why. I'm completely. I mean,
yeah, Maureen
I don't
is
think
like a great person, but unfortunately, she's retired.
Yeah, she's not there anymore.
Oh,
She's not there anymore.
Nope, I'll cross that one.
And Linda Elvira said her dad is in 100%.
Awesome, love it. All right, then, so apart from the sponsorship packages and everything like that, I went two directions on the Ruck 22 beanie hats. I went and got a couple of different quotes for actually producing them, instead of the custom ink way of doing it one-off, like when somebody signs up, they get another one thrown into there. I wanted to have two options moving in. Yes, we can do the custom ink. Everybody I talked to said no on the screen printing. It will have to be an embroidery thing, or it will have to be a patch, because they said technically, even though you could put ink on one of these things, the second you put it on, it goes. and it crunches and shatters. So that we can't do a silk screen on there, but custom ink does do embroidery. The problem we run into with custom ink is they don't have anything close to like a military green. It's always like this forest green, very British kind of a green sort of thing. And I had gone through all the different type of beanies on custom ink, and there are other ones that do fundraisers like that, but if that's a deal killer, I mean, that's one of the problems is they don't have all the colors of the rainbow. And I did get a couple different quotes, one from somebody who imports things from China. So it's a lower quality but lower price point per hat if we were going to make them ahead of time. And I'd spoken to another group out of Ann Arbor, and they said for a higher quality hat, I actually included this one in the report, the one on the left there. They can get as close to like a Army OD green, and it's a higher quality hat. And they do all the work here in Michigan. So I don't know if that makes a difference for anybody, but I wanted to ask you about the pros and cons about, yes, we can do it through something like custom ink where it's no money out of our pocket up front. But obviously we have a limited window of time where limited window of time where somebody has to sign up and then get their hat to get it in time, or if we do them all up front and hand them out at the day, even if somebody just walked up and signed up right then. So I know we talked a little bit about it last time, but I'd like to pick your brain about possible solutions, either the custom ink, do it ahead of time, or do the stuff up front and print these things or embroider them and then have them there. So yes, Cynthia.
So what's the price point on both?
So the price point is for custom ink is they don't tell you exactly. They say how much money you'll make. They said if we sold it for 22, which would essentially be the price of entry, you pay on custom ink for entry into the RUK 22 at $22. They said if we had 150 people sign up, it would be, I think, $1,700 in profit. Whereas if you did them up front, if you went with a Chinese made one, it can be as low as $6 per unit. If you went with the higher quality and Michigan made one, you're looking at about 11 per unit. So both of which are slightly more than, it's roughly 50% with the Michigan made one. So it's just a matter of whether or not we want to one, do these up front, and two, if we think that these are the sort of thing that much like the shirts, this is the sort of thing that people are going to want even after the fact, that we can put out there and put up on a website and say, hey, we still have these things, you can buy these after the fact, or at different things. So
Okay, so because it's a hat, I think there's a good possibility we can get rid of them, and they're not sized like shirts, but it is labor intensive for a group of, 6 or 8 of us to be there for registration, hand out the packets, and I'm going to say no on Chinese for me. If I'm gonna invest $25, $22, I want a better quality hat, and guess what? If you tell me it's made in Michigan, all the more power for me.
I look at it like that. I'm like, for the difference of $4 or $5 per unit price, I'd much rather have a better hat and say it's Michigan made and whatnot, especially given the fact that
I'd like to see one. I'd like to touch one. I'd like to feel it.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too.
I saw some Carhartts on that, so if it's a Carhartt hat that has our insignia on it and is from the other company, I'm going to pay $25 for that.
The Ann Arbor company did say that they can send us samples, so maybe what I can do is I can get a couple different ones that they would recommend, and I'm not above a socially distanced coffee at some point.
I'd like to check it out,
Yeah, and we can sit there and pass around hats.
Yeah, we put gloves on too. We can always put gloves on and touch something.
Right. That's all I have to say on that.
But I'm kind of the same way. It's like I would rather cut into a little bit of our profit to say that, one, we're using a local company, and that you get a better product in the end. And the Carhartt ones, I love all the Carhartt hats that I have. They just have such a limited color palette. And I'd like it to be as close to like an Army OD green, or like a classic World War II or Vietnam era kind of green, as opposed to that kind of lush British dark green, forest green sort of thing. But then again too, it's this, I'm selfish. I was in the Army. We've got Navy guys, we've got Air Force. So, yes, Eileen.
Didn't we also talk about possibly beige? Like it doesn't have to be
tan
gray.
works.
Yes.
It could be
Tan
tan.
work. Yep. There's a lot of different ways you can go with the tan, like the Carhartt ones have a very specific, like a light brown one. Some are going to be a beigey kind of a thing, and some will actually have almost what they call wheat, I think. So we've got more latitude there than like with greens. It's like you get this or you get this. So yeah, it's the good thing is, the other thing about using a local company is, they can send us samples, we can send them back. If we're trying to use something from, I don't know if anybody's ever got a sample from Custom Ink. So. But that said, I'm not above using Custom Ink because I know that it's a turnkey system. You just throw it up there and you say, look, you deal with it. The only thing that would be problematic about that is you have a limited window of time that you could sign up to be able to get one on that day, and then of course we have to time it so that they get here in time so that we can hand them out that morning. So the ease of use is weighed against the somebody 2 days beforehand can't sign up and then get a hat that day. So I'm open.
Just a couple of things. So. We've tried using other people, a local person that wasn't Custom Ink, and it didn't. I mean, they couldn't really keep up. They couldn't offer the kind of publicity that Custom Ink does. There's some marketing behind Custom Ink, and their website's easy to use. This other company tried to design like a website for us so people could order them, and it didn't work. I mean, obviously a hat, we don't need to worry about sizes. But the way Custom Ink works is if you sell 12 of something, it's one price point, and the more you sell, the cheaper it is. And then at the end, they offer you like a best friend discount, and you can purchase them yourself. Which by the way, is exactly what you would do if you had a race. There's no way you're printing your shirts, 2 days before the race. Not if there's hundreds of them, you're not. So usually when you run a race, you order a bunch of, extra mediums, extra larges, things like that, just so that you can cover your butt if somebody signs up at the last minute. And you can do the same thing with Custom Ink. Just 2 weeks out, you'd have to you'd have to look at the weather forecast and decide whether or not it's going to be, no one's going to show up because it's going to be cold or wet or whatever.
So if we're using Custom Ink and setting the price point to $22, them buying the hat essentially is their cost of entry to the ROK 22. Whereas if we went with something else, we would have to use, say, like Eventbrite for taking money up front, and it's less like a fundraiser and more like just a straight up so you'd have to set whatever you wanted to make. You'd have to build it into your cut. You can sell the hats on Custom Ink for $50 if you want, whatever you want to sell them for. But if you want to keep it at $22 and the hats, and the hats are more expensive, you're not going to make as much money for sure. Cynthia, had your hand up?
Right. So with the $22 through Custom Ink, is that registering you for the run too, or is that a separate?
I would say if we're going to do Custom Ink and you go there and you buy your hat, that's essentially you entering
the run.
Yeah. So, and because Custom Ink will give you that, you'd have a list of everybody who had bought through Custom Ink. you now have a list of people who are going to be there. That said, you know, you don't have same day sign up. I mean, you could take same day sign up, I suppose, if we had a square swiper or something like that. But
Okay, so I have a couple more things on that same note. So Custom Ink, you are registering for the Ruck Run. You're also paying the marketing. You're paying the price for the product at Custom Ink. I think the products are good. The color is not available that we're looking for, either tan or the army green that we're looking for. In addition to that, you know, we can register for the Ruck Run through another avenue.
that's what I'm saying. It's like
The colors are not available through Custom Ink, is what you told us earlier.
the colors for the kind of green that I was looking for, there are colors for a sort of a tannish one. And that's the other thing too, is we had talked about the kind of beanies that have the flip up the cuff. Whereas like you know, Carhartt has both. Obviously if you choose a Carhartt one, you make less money in profit. But so there are ones on there, and I can send links around to what all these things look like. I can actually send around an email with every one of the ones that's on Custom Ink. And I'm not above putting like a single order in just now for each one of them. I mean, I have 3 boys. It's not like I'm gonna. It's not like they're not gonna get used. I can put an order in for each one to sort of test out the quality of them. But what I don't like, and tell me if you're on this one. I don't like the balls on the top, the puff ball.
No,
I much prefer the just a straight beanie.
just a beanie, yeah.
Yep. Hey John, I got a question for you. Have you ever bought anything through this Custom Ink site online?
No, I don't usually buy stuff online. I'm paranoid about identity theft. I don't do business transactions online whatsoever. I get a phone number and I call them.
Yep, that's kind of what I thought you were going to say, and that's one of the things that I wanted to bring up, which is knowing that we have sign up online, are we turning off people who don't generally like to shop online, or is that a smaller percentage for the people that might do ROK 22? Judy?
I mean, any race you do, you have to sign up for online. I don't know a single race where you call them up and say you want to register.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say if you don't, I mean, here's the thing. I could register you for the race online, but I can't pay your $22. You know what I mean? So so how would that work? Somebody's going to send a check to the city of Carlow?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's that we can't take the money. It has to be done online.
So what do you, have we done same day sign up in the past with Cashbox? I mean, I know we did last time.
We've done, Eventbrite allows you to do same day sign up. We signed up people the same day last year. Eventbrite allows it.
I don't remember. Did we take the stuff from, did we take the purchases from Custom Ink last time and bring them into Eventbrite and then add to that on the same day or?
No, so last year we didn't use the Eventbrite. We had shirts left over from the previous year. What you can do with Custom Ink too is you can, it's not as convenient, but you can ask them to, you can wait a lot longer to get your merchandise if you send it all to yourself. So another thing we could do is we could use Eventbrite. And then once we got a list of how many people we need, I think Custom Ink needs about a week if they're going to send them all together. The reason it takes 2 weeks is because you're sending one to you and one to me and one to Sophia, and it's more work. If they just put all 200 hats in a box, they can do it in about a week. And we could place one order for Custom Ink, you know, for $200, and then.
And I'm not above, like if we put in all the orders and we get to the point where we're going to order all of our hats, I'm not above putting an order in, you know, like personally for another, 15, 20 or something like that, just to have them on the same day. I don't think we'd have a problem moving these if after the fact we said, hey, we have leftover RUK 22 hats, who wants one for $15 or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like that big of a deal because there's no sizes, so maybe there's not an advantage to having them send everybody a hat, because the hard part is, making sure that somebody got a large, a extra large, and a youth whatever, youth small. That's the hard part. 3 hats, we don't need to bag those in advance. Give you your 3 hats.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you get to, I'll bring my boys there to just throw hats at people. So yeah, I think that's, it's just something to think about going into that. We have multiple options, which is good. I see the pros and cons of using custom ink. The con, obviously, of having it done ahead of time is, cash outlay ahead of time, and then bringing people, essentially getting paid back by people signing up on Eventbrite. But at least we've got time. We don't have to decide right now, but I'm glad that we have the options. And I would like to actually get one of the custom ink folks on the line. And if they can address some of the issues, like whether or not, because you don't have like kids extra small and XXLs and everything like that, maybe the leaving the window open longer and then having them all shipped at once so that we get them like the day beforehand and then handing them out. The only thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way is that you have like a shorter window with custom ink. So I want to actually get on the horn and talk to them. So.
Okay.
Yep, that's my take on that one. We don't have to decide or vote or anything right now, but at least we have options. And if anybody runs into anybody else throughout any of this who does this sort of thing, rock on. As for the insignia on there, the logo, now you can get pretty detailed with embroidery. We had been originally we'd been thinking this was going to be a small silk screened screen printed thing on there, but if they can do fairly decent, like a small detail work on the embroidery, would you guys like to see a RUK 22 instead of just a 22? Or does the 22 seem like it's vague enough that it can be, you can wear it all the time and nobody's going to bug you about it, about what that means? Or is it more meaningful with the RUK in there? So I'd like to hear your opinion on that one, whether just the 22 is fine and kind of cool the way it is, or whether we should go back to like a RUK 22.
I like the RUK 22.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to make one quick statement here. I have dealt with a company called New Life Patriot down in Kentucky that does T-shirts on 4 to 5 occasions. I have bought T-shirts for my Metropolitan Detroit Veterans Coalition group, and I've done it not online, but I've looked over the stuff online on their site, and they send me messages all the time, but I still call them and place the order over the phone on a landline.
So I took a note. New Life Patriot in Kentucky. Got it. Eileen, you look like you had something to say?
Well, I wanted to go back to something. So last time when we did the shirts, am I mistaken that a portion of those proceeds went to, or like not the last time, but before that, went to the World War II or World War legacy? So is that something that does every year, or is that a decision we made last time?
We've been doing that every year since the inception.
Okay, now the other question is were we doing that because Royal Oak did not have a 501c3 that we can actually use in the course of a fundraiser? And it sounded like at the time we actually do have. I actually looked on the site. I thought you had said it was called Royal Oak Foundation or Royal Oak.
Royal Oak Civic Foundation.
Civic Foundation, that's what it was. So I did find that one on there. Now that there is a 501c3, or I don't know if that's a C3 or if it's 501c4. Either way, now that there is a nonprofit, does it make more sense to essentially bring in the money to that nonprofit and then cut a check to the World War II Memorial, as opposed to giving all the money to the World War II Memorial and getting money back from them, which is, I think, what we did in the past. All I remember was it was a little wonky last time.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, we're a 501c3 now,
Mhm.
but according to my tax person, unless I donate $24,000 to somebody, it doesn't make any 501. All the charitable work I do right now doesn't mean anything. So I don't know that 501c3s are going to be a big,
After the last tax overhaul, they took a hit in terms of what you can write off and everything like that.
Yeah,
That said,
you had to give away. You had to spend like $24,000 in charity before you
Right.
got to write it off.
but that said, a corporation is going to be way more likely to donate money to a
Yeah.
501c3 than to a city.
Yeah,
Or an
for
organization,
sure.
whatnot. So if you rolled in and said, "Hey Ford, we'd like $2,000 for this, and here's our 501c3 and whatnot," that's a lot easier sell from the sponsorship side than please send to
Right.
City Hall. Don't worry, there might be a City Hall once it gets there.
Well,
Yeah. So I think the Royal Oak Civic Foundation actually is going to be less about tax write-offs and more about getting money out of the hands of those people who
yeah. I
would-
think the issue in the past was when you use Eventbrite or Custom Ink, they write one check and they send it to whoever you want. And what the city never likes doing is getting a check and then writing a check to somebody else. We don't like that. We don't want to be involved in that kind of bookkeeping. Like, well, why did you give? Because nonprofits are not allowed to give to other nonprofits. So because that makes sense, right? If you donate money to the Detroit Zoo, you don't want them to turn around and give it to, I don't know, some nonprofit that you like hate or whatever, like you're totally against. So nonprofits aren't allowed to give to other nonprofits. So we would give to one person, not so much for 501c3 reasons, but just for bookkeeping reasons, because we didn't want to explain to our auditor why we gave money to the World War II Foundation. The city of Royal Oak should never use tax dollars to give to a charitable organization, no matter how wonderful it is. So we would just tell them, write a check to the World War II War Memorial, and that's how it was done. That's the reason.
I see. I didn't understand the reasoning, but it makes perfect sense now.
Yeah. We don't like checks coming into the city and then we have to write a check to somebody else. It just looks really bad. It looks like we're giving away taxpayers' money, and it's not taxpayer money.
So in following that, if we did a certain fundraiser that goes to the World War II legacy, are they able to donate to the parade? Let's say they want to, I don't know.
Well,
something that we wanted to do in the parade. Can they?
Well, they can. The way I understand it from some of the places I've worked for that are nonprofits that would do something is they do have a marketing budget. So if they can write it off as marketing, they can't give money to the parade, but they can pay for marketing.
They can pay
for the way they can pay for a sponsorship because it's considered like marketing.
So if we did,
my understanding of it, and I could be really wrong, but that's what I've heard from people before is.
So let's talk about ROK 22 then. Yeah, if we used Custom Ink for the ROK 22 and we ended up coming up with say $2,000 in profit even after they made the hats and shipped them out and everything like that, and that money then went to, instead of the Royal Oak Civic Foundation, because then we would have to be writing a check to the memorial, legacy memorial. From that, and you can't go one org to another org, we would use the the Michigan Legacy Memorial as our 501c3 that all the money goes to, and then they, out of their marketing budget, would essentially give a section of that back to us, because then we then use that for the parade coming up or something like that. I'm just trying to figure out how we had done it before, because last year was probably the most confusing time in terms of how we did that, because we had shirts before, but then people were still signing up and spending money, and so I don't know.
Yeah.
Cynthia had her hand up.
Yeah.
Cynthia?
Cynthia,
I want to go back to the marketing budget. So in marketing, you are given a budget. It could be $10,000, $10 million. And there's line items under that. So you can have like a line item that is a community event, which would be the parade. And yes, it is marketing, but that comes out of your marketing budget. So all the big companies work under those line items. Yeah, it's marketing, but they have a bazillion line items. It can be t-shirts, it can be koozies, it can be anything, but usually there is a line item for community events. That's where we need to target.
Well, no, I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to, and this is a little selfish, but I don't want to do all this work and we give it to them and
The
then
other thing I want to
they're
say
the
is,
ones that need the budget.
the other thing, I know we've always done it in the past. We've
Yeah.
always given them money in the past. Is this the year that we need to do that with our big parade coming
That's
up?
what I'm saying.
Do we
That's
have
my
to give
opinion.
it to them this year? Or can we keep it in our account for the parade? Just asking.
Yeah.
You can do that. Yeah.
well, I mean, I haven't spoken to any of the commissioners yet or about any of the budget, and I know that from an economic standpoint, I know cities across America are getting hit very hard. I mean, tax revenue is down, so I'm not even of the belief that, you know, oh, we had this much money last year to spend, that it's going to be that, you know, if they have to cinch their belts because of the coming recession or depression, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, committees like us get socked first.
No, the next year's budget is set. We have money for next year.
Okay.
The fiscal year began
Yeah.
July 1st. It'll
July
end
1st.
June 30th of next year. And we were not cut from the budget.
Okay.
Okay,
We
thank
did
you.
not spend our money from last year.
No, we did. We
We did.
voted to spend 25 or 2,000 towards a float. Remember?
And we set it aside for the float.
Yeah.
Oh,
We-
yeah, that's right, okay.
And
We didn't
Carol,
wanna
We
lose
didn't
it.
have it. And
We didn't
nobody
wanna lose
knows,
it.
nobody knows in this committee if we're gonna have one in May. I
That's
mean,
true.
we can plan like crazy, but
yeah. Well, please don't say that.
I know.
I know.
What'd you say about
It's better.
Carol, Judy?
Oh, Carol confirmed with me. I asked her this week if she sent the check to the parade company, and
Okay.
she did. So we're all set.
Okay.
Got it.
I need to call the parade company though, because they sent me an invoice, but they didn't really send me anything saying that they got her check. So I need to follow up with them. But it was sent. Carol has the check number and everything, so we're good.
Because everything just sort of fell apart when we had to cancel everything like that, I would like to get it on the books early that we can we nail down the Rosies again. I would love to have the Rosies. I mean, especially given the fact that we have the float. So I will, let's see, Rosies. Here's my to-do list. Call the Rosies again. And also I want to follow up with the Tuskegee Air, the flyover guys. And those are the big ones. I mean, the fact that we have the float, great. I would also like to, you know, if there's any way to engage the schools more. I mean, it was great to have like the elementary schools, but so whether we have I mean, if we've got the float and we know we're going to have this thing, you know, I wonder if there's a way we can get it and put it somewhere and we have a decoration day or something like that. I always want to go back to, yep, go on.
Two things. One, I don't want to get distracted because we need to stay on the RUC 22. But
Okay.
we already talked about the float doesn't come until like the day of or the day before. You have that time to do it. So that's a whole different, that's like a whole separate, I think, subcommittee that's going to have to work on the float idea. But
Okay, so,
I just want to keep us focused on the RUC 22.
got it. So float later. I'm going to put that
Yeah, float later.
float later. Yeah, Cynthia.
Okay, as far as the schools go, that is also up in the air until we know what's going on with the schools.
Oh, they voted. Well, they're getting ready to vote. The school board will vote on the decision that they've come
Well,
up with.
I'm just saying, for this committee, for this purpose, for right
Yeah.
now, as
Right
far
now,
as getting
yeah.
the kids involved,
Yep.
Yeah, we're not
it's a moot point because we don't know where the heck that's going.
So one of the things that I was thinking of, and we'll get back to the, we'll put this off on the new business, then we'll circle back to this. So for RUC 22, then I know Mike usually has access to, bracelets. I think we still have a whole bunch of the bracelets lying around, like the rubbery ones. I like the idea of we had the tables last year where you had folks from the actual the VA hospital. I really like the inclusion of giving takeaways that I want to circle back to that thing. I know I hammered it last year, which is it's great that we're doing this and raising awareness, but if people don't leave with some sort of actionable item of, okay, great, I'm in it, but what can I do if I meet somebody? So I liked having them there. So I would like to at some point nail down the VFW again, and because I like our route. I don't think the route's a problem. So if we can nail down the VFW again, for allowing us to have the tables inside afterwards, and I didn't really get to go in and hang out afterwards, but it seemed like the fact that people can go in and get the hot chocolate, and they had the one table there. I thought that went over well. What was your takeaway after last time? Cynthia, you got your hand up?
Last meeting, Mike mentioned that the VFW is all in on that, and they'll do the coffee, and they'll do the hot chocolate, and they'll have the back open. With COVID, no volunteers are allowed at the VA. So as far as getting those representatives lined up by November, that's but Mary is still a member there. And I think they're going to do hot dogs, I think, after the walk. I think the auxiliary really wants to be involved in that. They just need to know approximately how many.
Okay.
Like if we can give them 2 weeks ahead of time, say, okay, well, we can give them the date and the time when we're going to take off, rather than scramble like we did last year to find a place for that. So if we can let them know a takeoff time and when approximately they'll be returning, they'll be better prepared for that. But Mike has already said the auxiliary would be happy to do that. But also, I think we can reach out to the Canadian, we can reach out to the Eagles, we can reach out to the American and see if they have, $25, $50 that they want to donate for the auxiliary to buy the product for that.
I was just going to say, we did it completely different because we had the beer thing, we got the extra license.
No, we did not let the VFW know that we wanted in for hot chocolate
No, I'm
until
saying,
the night before.
I'm saying we can tell them, and I think we started at 10. I mean, we started the walk at 10, we arrived at 9, so that's going to be much easier this year. Right. I think we started at 10, right? We walked at 10.
Currently, the VFW is closed.
I heard it was open again. Somebody told me it was open.
Well, the VFW is closed.
Okay. Maybe it should have been open.
So now, obviously all of this is everything that we talk about, all of our plans and whatnot, obviously have asterisk for, second wave, how things are going, everything. So we understand that. I'd like to have everything battened down ahead of time. So if they go, yes, it's fine, we got our vaccine by whatever, and everybody's cool with it, knowing that, safety is our biggest concern. It was a tough decision for Memorial Day. It would be a less tough decision for the RUC 22. But my hope is that, I'm still going to plan as if it's there, and that we're still doing it, even if we do it in masks. But if it works out that the VFW is closed, then I would probably go. Is the new city hall going to be open at that point? Is the new building going to be up and running? Judy.
The new city hall will be open for sure. That the issue will be how many people can be indoors. You know, like right now it's
right. And I would
people can
less
gather.
about indoors as opposed to having like parking lot space or some place that we can set up a tent.
Yeah, for sure. The new city hall is. Oh, you know what? Sorry, if it's on a Saturday,
Right.
the market's going on, and we cannot do anything.
Right, I forgot about that.
Anything that would compromise the parking for the market. Sorry.
Nope, I forgot about that. They're going to be sharing lots there. So,
Yeah.
all right, then. So we can plan as if it's going to be a repeat of the 2.2 loop, as well as using the VFW. If we come up with a alternate launch point because of something else, it's an outdoor event, and the indoor thing would be great. But you know, I didn't go indoors the first year we did it.
Yeah.
So I mean, worst case scenario, we just do it like we used to do it.
Yeah. Bundle up.
And you know, I could talk to the when we were talking to the Hazel Park guys, they had been talking about those outdoor heaters and things. The other thing too is like it is a weird year, so I don't know if it's the sort of thing that we reach out again to fellow cities to see if they want to be part of it. I mean, we can always throw it out there to them, but you know, we did get some people coming over from. I think we actually had some officers from the Hazel Park police that marched. So yeah, it's basically what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the core things, and anything else over and above that's great. But the core is we get there, you know, we hand out stuff, we do our 2.2. Anything over and above that is going to be nice to haves. And I kind of feel the same way going into next year once we start talking about the parade, which is what do we want to nail down as the core elements, and then after that we build onto it, as opposed to trying to, you know, we need to build it like a Lego house upward as opposed to just tacking on things left and right. Yes, Eileen.
Yeah, I just think maybe what we can do is we can say, how about next meeting, everybody come with your ideas of what you have for the Ruck March.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes contacting all the cities to invite them. Like I think we're kind of just rambling on ideas, but how about if everybody focus on, you come in with your ideas, and that's like a big part of our old business next meeting. We just focus on that.
I like that. So let's see, other cities, police, fire, all that stuff. So yeah, everybody brings their ideas for the Ruck 22, their enhancement ideas, as opposed to changing the core event. And then obviously the big one would be, you know, I'm gonna put a VFW question mark right there. So I know it can work without going inside. It'd be great if we had that, but so yeah, I like that idea. So everybody yes, Cynthia.
Right, so the VFW is closed right now. I'm expecting they're going to be open, you know, by November. But an alternate plan might be the Eagles. And who's the guy who sang, Judy? You know, the guy.
Roger Cuddington.
Yeah, he's like the president or something over there. It's like right across the street. They have a huge parking lot. They have an upstairs where you could social distance. So as an alternate plan, maybe somebody wants to reach out to Roger and see, would you be interested? Because they also have an auxiliary that, and all those clubs are really hurting right now. So
yeah,
I'm just throwing it out there and it's right across the street. It's not going to really change the route very much. So just a thought.
I like that. I wanted to reach out to Roger anyway, because we had talked about bringing him on possibly to sing as a sort of a throwback to the past. I don't know about having him sing for Veterans Day, but I would like to talk to him about, you know, at least singing for next Memorial Day, given that it's our hunt.
Yeah. Well, I know he's got some kind of position up there, and they have that big room that's never really used upstairs, and plenty of room to stage registration and social distancing.
Okay.
And they have a lot of the practices in place already for the downstairs area, so it's an option.
Yep. That's, how far down is that? Is that over by the?
It's like a block and a half.
Yeah. Is that
It's
by
on the opposite
place?
side of the street, before
Yeah.
you get to Ace Hardware, before you get to In Seasons. It's really,
Okay.
well, it's next to the whiskey place.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. I'm not
It's
saying
in
I judge
that.
everything by how close it is to the whiskey place, and
It's next door.
Okay, got it. All right, so that's so yeah. Next time, everybody kind of bring your additional ideas, your sort of add-ons to RUC 22.
Yeah,
And
the Elks Club is also on 4th Street.
that's right, it is too.
Yeah, so we
You
could
just
just
have to run
take them out.
you just have to run the parade the other way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta change
People
the route.
have people head west and come back.
Yeah, like I said, all of those clubs are hurting. I'm sure they'd love to have us. So,
Right. Then so the other thing too is so that's RUC 22. In terms of Veterans Day, I really haven't thought yet about speaker or having somebody give the invocation that time either. I mean, obviously, it's going to be hard to top last time. Maybe fewer tears this time, but that was a very emotional one, and not just because we were all packed inside and sweating. But so yeah, like I'm open to suggestions for speaker for Veterans Day, and
Speaker for Veterans Day or for
November 11th.
Veterans Day
because
next.
RUC 22.
for the service, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we got RUC 22, and then on Veterans Day we have ideally it's gonna be outside, so long as we don't have a big old snowstorm again. But
It's a Wednesday,
it's a Wednesday. Okay,
so we can
well,
count on the city being
Down
there.
on the city, Judy.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
exactly. So let's see. Let me put that here. Veterans Day is a
That's
Wednesday.
a day I'm taking off because I don't get it off.
Yep. All right. So then, so yeah, if somebody has a, I want to put it out there that if somebody has a pastor, priest, rabbi, somebody who they're just, that they love and might be a good fit. I've picked people at random in the past based on sort of their message and their willingness to be broader than their flock itself. But yeah, I'm not above, if somebody has, they're like, look, I've got this one pastor, he's killing it, or, the rabbi here was fantastic, so I'm open to suggestions for that. I do have folks still at the Michigan level, at the state level for the VFW. That might not be a bad place to start for speakers. But I don't know. I think that the personal anecdotes, the personal stories, they do tend to hit home a little more than the guys that are really good with a speech and a mic. So yeah, it's I'm open.
Well, I was gonna say I actually know a Lutheran church, so I'm happy to ask if they would be interested in doing it.
Okay.
So we haven't had a Lutheran pastor.
That is cool. Do you know which one it is?
You know what? I just know it's on. I've been there and I feel bad. It's on 14 Mile, almost to Woodward.
You know what? I have taught martial arts there.
Yeah, I just can't think of the name of it, but
Yep. No, my friend actually, my friend Matthew actually goes there, and
Is it Good Shepherd?
yes, thank you, Good Shepherd.
yeah.
Yes.
So we've actually we've gone there twice, and they have a women's group there that we have taught personal protection classes on how to protect themselves with whatever they have on them, pens and purses and Right.
So I'll ask there, and even if the person I know there's several pastors there that I think might be interested in doing it for Veterans Day. So I'll check on that. I'll put Eileen next to that. I told Max I would volunteer for things, and then he's gonna help me do the stuff.
So good effort. Got it. All right, then, and John, that goes for you too. I mean, if there's somebody that you know that would be a good speaker too, for Veterans Day, let me know. I mean, we covered the the MIA angle, POW angle. We covered veteran suicide. I'm more than open to suggestions for somebody who you think would be a good speaker.
Do we know what Baptist one?
Okay,
So just keep your ears open, man.
I will.
Got it. But in terms otherwise too, and this is where Steve comes in. Obviously, last year the snowstorm, came out of the clear blue sky and sent us indoors. So whatever we plan this year, I think we should probably spend a little bit more time on the backup plan, in case that works. Because like even last year, even if we had a big tent and the heaters outside, it still wouldn't have worked because I mean it was so heavy that we couldn't even got up on the memorial itself. So having a pretty good backup plan in terms of size and AV setup and everything like that. Thankfully, they jumped through hoops and made it happen, and I'm very grateful. But I hate putting people in that position of okay, go. So I think having a strong backup plan for Veterans Day for the actual ceremony is going to be key.
Well, the saying we're on Wednesday, so we actually have the library.
Yep.
So we could actually plan that ahead as a backup plan.
Yeah. Now the downside last time was we had more people than that room could handle, and I think that's the biggest room in the library.
Okay.
And I feel bad that their AV system guy had to kind of throw all that together at the last minute. So, but I think you're right. That's probably the easiest one. Obviously, the park is not going to be where we thought the park was going to be for November.
Right.
So the good thing is the memorials staying put, between here and there, I think. So.
Yeah, Cynthia.
Was there a reason? I think there was a reason why we couldn't use farmers market last minute. Could we book that as a contingency plan for that Wednesday? It's like.
Do they usually have stuff going on during the week? I think last time it was like a wedding thing or like a.
I think it was last minute. It was last minute because we didn't have a contingency plan.
Right,
but I'm saying if we're talking about it now, maybe we could reach out and see.
Got it.
Hey, if it's snowing, is there a chance? Because
farmers market
on 11/11.
City Hall might be an option because it should be open by then too and have space.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Wednesday, right, Judy?
Say that again?
I said, it's a Wednesday, City Hall's open. Is there a nice big space in City Hall that we could do a backup plan?
Yes, of course. Of course.
So really, we could use the city, the farmer's market, they charge.
And you know what, you guys? In November, the War Memorial will be, if things go according to plan, the War Memorial will be, the park will be closed. The buildings are scheduled to be demolished.
I thought that the park update was sort of on hold during all this.
Sorry?
I thought that the park update was on hold during all of this.
Park update? No, the park update, the Centennial Park is expected to open next year.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know why. I had thought that that was one of the things that they moved back.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the city hall. We're moving into City Hall in a couple of weeks, and we're supposed to move into the police are supposed to move into their new facility in October, and then those two buildings will be demolished, and the War Memorial will. I'm not sure what the phasing plan is, like when the War Memorial gets moved, but I think we can pretty much count. We should plan that we will not be able to have a ceremony at the War Memorial.
Okay.
In November. But the new City Hall has an amazing porch on the east side, and we could it's like a natural stage.
Mhm.
If there's flags on that side, the United States flag, obviously, Michigan, and the Royal Oak flag. And so you could do that flag ceremony, and we could just make sure there's no parking directly in front of City Hall, and it would make a really nice place, a nice alternative place. And then if the weather was bad, we could come in and do the whole thing in City Commission chambers. The City Commission chambers in the new building is much bigger than our current.
Well, and one of the things that we could do is, since we have all the names on the memorial itself, all we would need is projectors, and you can actually project the names that would have been on the memorial onto the wall behind whatever the speaker would be. So we can still bring the heart of the memorial, even if the memorial itself is under construction. Since I have all the names, it would be easy enough to put together, whether we get 1 or 2 projectors. You just kind of do a black background with the white text and shoot them at the wall, and we would still be able to sort of have that in the background.
Yeah, if you can get, it might be too bright, don't you think, though, to project something? I'm not sure.
Normally I'd say yes, but in November everything's usually overcast. Yes, Cynthia.
But
Okay, since we know this in advance, it'd be really good for this committee to come up with a contingency plan now and just plan it. Whether it is computerized drawings of those memorials, we know it's not going to be where it was before. We need to get it out to everybody, letting them know that we're in a year of construction, so this is what it's going to be. And you can do computerized drawings of those. And you said you have the names. I don't know if you about projecting them, but I think we have to have all of those organizations represented at wherever we hold it, whether it's the library, the commission, farmers market. We have plenty of time right now. We got 3 months to figure it out. So I would rather go in there knowing that, and letting people know right now that it's not going to be there and this is where you need to go, than hear all the backlash because,
Yep.
And now that we're hearing this, Judy, I remember you saying it's going to be really close for November 11th. I knew that.
Yeah.
So,
we could also get like the names printed onto signs. I will say the new City Hall has really lovely landscaping around it, so we could put the
do something.
we could get signs made on that. What is it called? It's not foam core, but it's like some sort of
Yeah. I know what you're
plastic,
talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
plasticky stuff that's water
Right.
resistant.
That kind of mirrors what's up there. Looks like what's up there.
Well, the question I have then is, if we know that the memorial is going to be out of commission for that one, then the memorial is the main reason why we would have it outside. If that's the case, and we know that the memorial is out of commission, should we aim for an inside event for Veterans Day from the get-go? Because if there's not an actual memorial with a flag that we're going to actually, be able to raise up and down and everything like that, is there even a point to planning it for an outdoor one, or should we aim for inside City Hall or inside Farmers Market or whatever?
Yeah, actually, by November, there's also a possibility that the police station will be open, and the police station has a really, really, really big second floor conference room.
Okay.
So there might be more options, but I don't know. That's kind of close. I mean, I think the police are supposed to move in October, and we're talking November 11th. So I don't know, maybe kind of tight, but for sure,
I'll put 2 question marks after that one.
For sure, we can do it at City Hall, and then of course we could do it in the Friends Auditorium, which we did last year. But the new City Hall has an overflow area, and it's quite a bit bigger than the library auditorium.
If we did do it inside, if we plan on inside, I think we'll all feel more comfortable and more organized about it, because we are going to have the laying of the wreaths. There are going to be people there because the snow didn't stop the veterans. They were there.
Yeah.
So I would feel more comfortable if we just set a place, maybe not tonight, doesn't have to be tonight. Set a place.
We can think, yeah.
work
Oh, yeah.
on that.
Actually, Judy, do you
know
have renderings of the new city hall, of like the new the commission, the main commission hall,
Yeah.
or if you have those, that'll help us sort of.
I do, and it just occurred to me that that the City Hall Commission Chambers has ginormous, like, sport, like watching a sports game size TV monitors. I believe
That's
there's
what I was thinking.
5 or
Yeah.
6, and you could put the names on those. There's also monitors in the overflow area.
I could actually make
the
I could make a
monitors, you
loop.
could design something really nice and have everybody's names there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like we can have the slow motion flag, and we can just have on a loop the names just kind of for endlessly scrolling up and up and up on
Yeah.
both sides. Yeah.
I can try to get you the specs for how big they are and what kind of graphics you need to create.
So yeah, I think if we had some sort of previs architectural renderings and whatnot of what that room's going to look like, and then especially given the fact that if we've got AV set up where I can actually do video stuff, I can do that. So yeah, I'd love to plan that ahead. I just keep coming back to, like, if there's no memorial outside, then it really doesn't make sense to spend any time trying to think about what to do outside, just because Veterans Day tends to bring an older crowd, and the fewer veterans I can have freezing outside, the better.
Yeah, they might actually. I think that they'll actually appreciate it. So I will talk to the city manager tomorrow and make sure that it's okay that we just immediately book that room for. And then you'll probably get lots of city employees.
Yeah, they just have to walk down the hall.
You just have to, like, fall out of their chairs and they're there.
So get renders from.
Let me make myself a note.
I gotta tell you, I'm not even sure where we're at on old business. I don't have the agenda up, but we went from like chairperson report to.
No, we jumped to unfinished business. So unfinished business is.
That's what I thought. I just making sure if we weren't still on the.
So we talked about the sponsorship committee a little bit, and then we have WROK 22 and Veterans Day for unfinished business.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we're kind of up to new business, and I know we had punted something down the road, whether that was the getting people to sign up for the open spots, or whether we have let me see here. What did I say was our new business? Other cities, WROK 22, no. Eagles, no. Oh, float. All right, so for our new business, one of the things that I thought about, especially given the fact that we don't know if there's going to be in-school students or anything like that, and since I remember you saying that we really don't have a whole lot of time to do the decoration, so maybe one of the things that we do is we can get the specs for the float, and then essentially do a float design contest, or a float decoration contest ahead of time, where I can design, like, if I can, even if I have to go down to the place where the floats are and get like a schematic, like a side and a front thing, I can actually do a downloadable PDF that students, even if they're working from home, because they probably will be, they can print something off and draw and color right on there, and then they can send it to us, they can scan it, they can do whatever, that they drop it off at I don't know, library. But if we do a thing and put it out there that the students design this float for our 100th anniversary parade, and then best case scenario, we have one that's just phenomenal, and we go, ooh, okay, we can create a lot of this stuff ahead of time, so that when we get the float, we can just
chink on it.
And I mean, absolute worst case scenario is you've engaged a bunch of young people in thinking about Memorial Day and what it stands for and all this other stuff. And if all it takes is me going down and taking some photos and doing a sort of a schematic plan of what the side and the front of this thing would look like, that's no sweat off my brow to actually come up with that design and put out the PDF. And because we can send those directly to the schools, to the teachers, they can distribute to any student that wanted to be a part of it. And then we don't have to worry about like us marketing out to that. Any school is going to want to jump at that because it's a low commitment, high impact sort of thing for them. So I think that would probably be a good idea, as opposed to trying to get people to show up and, you know, put bunting on an actual thing. And that's also the sort of thing that we can throw out there come September or October. So like when, like my kids, so my kids are elementary, middle, and high school, and it was like pulling teeth to get them to actually stay focused and do something other than, you know, look at online learning sites. So I think something that engages them at an artistic level, we can put it out there and it gives them a whole lot of time, and we say, okay, everybody get this back to us. You know, we can throw it out there in September and say, give it back to us by by November or something. And that will give us time to kind of go through and take a look at those things. It's something it's easy, and it's not a big ask for us, and it gives them some way to get in touch. And ideally, if a kid designed a float and they had a chance of seeing their stuff on the float, hopefully that increases people showing up to see the actual float. So thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think it's great. Great idea.
I do too.
Okay. So that would be my take on it. So now the question then is, if they have something like that, a design or photos or something like that, that I can make a line art schematic, almost like essentially like a coloring book version of it, that we can send out as a PDF. That people can print out at home and do it. But all the better. If worst case scenario, I can actually go down there and take photos myself. So.
Yeah, you might be able to call them and they actually be able to tell you that.
Okay. So Judy, I'll just get the information from you then and give them a shout. So
Okay.
send PDF to kids. Cynthia, did you have a question? Were you waving your hand or?
No, she just waving her hand.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it occurs to me too, I know we're jumping all over the place here, but the Memorial Day ceremony for sure will not be able to be held at the War Memorial next year.
Oh no, yeah. So
even if the construction is delayed and for some reason the police don't move into their facility in October and we can have an event in November, that's one thing, but the Memorial Day parade will not be able to end.
So
one thing I can say is the very first Memorial Day parade, John Wendland looked up the route and it actually finished at Oakview Cemetery, where there also is a war memorial and flags. And so it might be nostalgic to do the parade route of the first parade 100 years ago and end at Oakview, but we would need to get, obviously we need to get the cemetery involved.
Yeah. And
I think I have a connection there.
Oh, do you? I bet you do.
I do.
So John,
Sorry, I was slow on that one.
For many years, that I live right off of Main Street. For many years, when I first moved to my house, that the parade went right past my house because it ended in Oakview, and then they switched it around and had it. I think when the War Memorial got its new sort of prominent location, they changed the parade route. But traditionally it ended at Oakview Cemetery for many, many years.
Well, I've still got John's number too. I can reach out to him and see if he's got something in that giant binder of his that has a map.
Yeah, it basically used to start at the old Clara Barton. Well, I guess it was originally Royal Oak High School and then became Clara Barton Middle School, which is right now Barton Towers.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So there was a big
Right down
parking
there.
lot there, yeah. And then after they built Barton Towers, they would actually start it at the farmers market and use that parking lot and cross 11 Mile, which seems really weird to me, but they did that. But I think the first parade kind of zigzagged around basically the whole city and then ended at Oakview. But John does have the parade. John can share with you the parade route, the original parade route.
Got it.
Starting location.
So now that we're talking about Memorial Day, there's probably one last thing we should probably talk about, which is, do we allow businesses with no direct connection to veterans or veteran organizations or scouts or something like that? You know, I want to avoid another CBD thing. I want to avoid political action committees. I want to avoid anybody slipping in a line of cars that didn't sign up. So it's like, without being all dictatorial about who can and who can't march, do we put a thing in there that says, we're open to, you can submit your thing, but we reserve the right to, choose people who have a direct connection to something. So that's like, how do we get around? How do we do a CYA to say, I don't want to play politics and I don't want, CBD or whatever the latest thing is. So I don't know how we do that without saying only vets and scouts, because that's not right either. So, but it's something we have to address. Yes, Eileen.
Okay, so Judy talked last time about with the attorney, the city attorney, that what kind of language we can put on there. And we talked about how if they have a float or some type of thing that we get to see it beforehand, the committee has to approve that. And if it's not, acceptable, they can, so maybe the attorney needs to help us put the language into the application.
Okay, I like that. Now the other thing too is, like, I didn't think the Moms Demand Action crew was, I don't think that they were overtly political in their marching, but I know people had said that, just their presence was political in and of itself, which, I mean, that's debatable whether you call that political or not, but how do we handle either nonprofits like that or NGOs, businesses? It seems pretty obvious. Like, if you want to march and you've got a thing that says we support our troops, and you march with your, so long as you're not giving out, dental supplies with your name on the side, great. But I don't know. I'm open to suggestions on how we sort of cultivate a more Memorial Day centric marching crowd without being dismissive of people who want to participate. Does that make sense?
I think maybe that's another thing we can all bring some ideas to the next meeting of. Sorry, Shelby's going nuts there.
That's good. Well, she's got ideas.
Yeah, there's an idea.
She's got a lot of ideas.
So yeah.
My fish are going crazy too.
Flashing back there. Judy, you have a question?
I was going to say that there's absolutely no shame at all in looking at St. Clair Shores Parade application or Plymouth.
Yeah.
Anybody that has a good one, and just seeing how they do it.
Okay. Great idea.
We don't have to invent this from scratch. There's probably,
got it.
if we look at enough parade applications, we probably can find one that has it worded just the way we want.
So
I like
I'll say that'll be Max and my responsibility. We'll find some
You'll find
other
the
applications from other cities.
St. Clair Shores is like considered, I think, like the best, and I know Plymouth has a really good one too.
Okay. I do like the idea of looking into that, and but I mean, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. It's like, I don't want to turn people away who want to participate, but I also don't want it to turn into free advertising for somebody who's, the new orthodontist that moved to town. But I also don't want to turn somebody off if they say, look, yes, we've got, we're the new marketing firm in town, but we're also veteran owned. So it's like, we have to walk that tightrope between being strict about, no marketing and advertising, no overtly political stands. But on the other hand, I want to make sure that we're open and democratic about this.
No, I think we're all in agreement on that one. We
Okay.
want to make it a family-friendly parade without the controversy. It's really about Memorial Day.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
about anything else. We did one year, I know that one year they talked about where you bring your flag from your loved one. And I thought that was really neat. There were several optimists who had their flag. I think Matt came with us that year. He carried his grandfather's flag. I thought that sort of gave something for everybody to kind of bring together whatever organization they were doing.
I like that.
Yeah, I think behind that.
So long as we're talking about an American flag.
Yes, yeah, no. It was like, I mean, we had ours in a triangle thing, and a lot of people had theirs. A lot of people carried the flag itself, but it was all folded, just like your hand.
Right. I love that idea. I just want to make sure that when we put that out there, I want to make sure that you don't have somebody with the blue line flag, and then somebody else with the BLM flag, and then somebody else with a orthodontist flag. Something.
No, it was the
I'm
American
picking
flag.
on orthodontists right now. I have nothing against orthodontists.
For the loss of your loved one.
Yeah, so maybe it's just because I spend so much money on my kids with orthodontia. Maybe that's why. Three boys I got to pay for.
Can I interject here? This is Willie raising his hand.
Yes, sir.
Number one, the Detroit Veterans Day Parade in Detroit through the Metropolitan Detroit Veterans Coalition. We have turned down groups that want to march, just like we had a group that medical marijuana. We told them no.
Yep.
We can tell them no.
Yep.
You may have to go through your city attorney that this is a Royal Oak sponsored parade. The city may have something to do with it. Mm-hmm. We have a group of, we have like 1,200 junior ROTC students from the high schools in Detroit, and we select one group of them, and they carry banners listing all the losses and all the wars. Each one of them carries a banner listing each war and how many were lost.
Got it. Yeah, that's
it's as effective as a group of people carrying the folded flag, which is a symbol of a loss of a loved one.
Right.
So
ROTC out of Detroit, then is that where they're from?
Yeah, the junior ROTC Detroit. We have all the high schools. All the high schools in Detroit have a junior ROTC contingent, and they all come down. We've got 1,200 of them in the parade.
God, I think it was the first year that I ended up doing this. I can't remember if it was Veterans Day or Memorial Day when that whole big contingent of ROTC showed up, and they're like, "Well, we've done it in the past, and we just showed up here, and I felt bad that we didn't really have anything for them to do." I don't remember where they were out of.
That was the Air Force group.
Oh, that was the Air Force ones. Yeah. So that was like they were out of Ann Arbor or something, or they weren't from like around here, but yeah, they were. That was a big group too.
I don't know, but like I said, we screen our applications, and if we see somebody that doesn't look right, we talk to them and find out what their purpose is. And we've told them before, no, we don't want you marching. Politicians are welcome, but no politicizing. They may have a decal on their car that tells who they are, but we don't announce them and whatever.
Yeah, they can shake a hand, but no passing stuff out. So so Willie, you've got the connection with the junior ROTC. Will you find out if they're interested in doing that for us?
Well, I'd almost look to see if there's one at Royal Oak High School.
Yeah, there isn't. I can tell you there isn't.
Yeah.
Oh, there isn't?
No, not that I've seen. But then again, I'm assuming that if they generally do the Detroit one, they'll probably be doing that on that day anyway, and not with us. So.
I can check.
Okay. I mean, and especially given the fact that not all of them march in the main one, so maybe we get the second stringers.
Okay.
Doesn't Southfield have ROTC?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'll check.
And Berkeley?
Don't know, but good suggestions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that on here. Berkeley, Southfield. A lot of question marks here. Southfield.
I put John Williams down for that task.
Got it.
I'll send out tasks tomorrow.
Cool.
I think that helps us better.
So that was that's what I want to throw out there for new business for just to get people thinking about stuff for Memorial Day itself. It's far enough out that I really hadn't thought about the Memorial Day ceremony yet, although we really do need to start talking about where that's going to end up. If we do change the route and that does end up at the Oakview, then that will dramatically change the ceremony itself, given the fact that we're not going to have power there. So they would have to do a remote power for AV
They have
setup.
power. They have power in the chapel.
Oh, yeah, but
No,
I mean,
but it doesn't have to be in the chapel. They have power there, though.
that's true. I was just thinking, but like, isn't the memorial, isn't the veterans area of Oakview like way in the back though, or would we just start?
It is way in the back, but there are veterans scattered all around because
Okay, so
we
maybe
do the grave cleaning all the time. That would be something that a representative from this committee would have to go to Oakview,
got it.
and because if they got a funeral that day, everything's
Good point.
I mean, I can't imagine on Memorial Day, but
Right.
people get buried whenever they want to get buried.
Yeah, exactly.
I can check on that next week. My post honor guard is doing final honors for a veteran at Oakview Cemetery next Friday at 1 o'clock.
Willie doing final honors at Oakview. All right, cool. So I mean, that
Have
was.
you ever thought about doing a circle route, starting out and ending where you start out at one place and end up at the same place?
That's a possibility.
Yeah, but it's about the disbursement of the floats at the end. You have to have, if you're starting out, you're all lining up and starting out at the same spot. So you're all the way back into the cemetery, coming out, going around and going back in. It may work depending on how many participants we have.
With average
It's worked for us in Detroit at the Veterans Day Parade. We start out at one spot, we wind around, and we get back to the very same spot. And everybody disperses from there.
So long as there's parking around there, that's a great idea.
Right. Yeah,
so,
but you've lost that big parking lot down there by 10 Mile in Maine where they built those old complexes.
So I think for next time when we're talking about bringing new ideas, if anybody wants to pull up Google Maps and look at the city, I mean, if we can map out something that makes more sense, if we can do the 100th anniversary one, awesome. If there's a different route that makes more sense because we're not ending at the memorial anyway, so I think that's a good thing for everybody to kind of go away, take a look, take a drive around and see what works. And I don't think I ever mapped out the length of the parade from down there on 7th all the way up.
Steve mentioned that in the past they had a lot of different starting areas depending on the length of the parade, but it always went up Main Street to Oakview.
Yeah. Okay.
Back in the day when they were doing the Oakview thing. So, it depends on how many people and, logistically, where can you line up and get to Oakview? Because Oakview, you could circle around and come out, if you end there. But
okay, just everybody come with their ideas. I just thought of one that might work too. So
cool. All right. Well, that was all I had for new business. Is there anything else that somebody had thought about, wants to bring up before we end this thing? Because it's 8:43 already.
I think John.
Yes, I've got a couple of things very quickly.
Got it. All right. Well.
Number one, I didn't get the information for this call today. I don't know why. I had to send it out, and then Eileen sent me something that Carol Schwanger had sent out. I didn't get that.
Okay, let me check the do you get my emails when I send stuff out or no?
Yeah, and I have a suggestion. My suggestion is that you get these out the day before the meeting.
All right, so Carol usually sends.
Yeah, we do ours, the Optimist meeting. We don't do them 2 weeks before because people just start doing other stuff. So we do it.
They get lost.
We do it like I post my calendar, but if you also just send it out as a reminder the day before, which I can do, I'm not saying Carol has to do that. I can just add that to my responsibilities, just to send it back
Day before is fine.
Okay.
David, did I hear you say something before about the memorial was not going to be moved? Yes or no?
What? No, it sounds like the memorial itself is going to be under construction both of these times, that we won't be able to use it for both Veterans Day or Memorial Day coming up. So
Okay.
it sounds like this the next two events that we do, well, the Veterans Day event and the Memorial Day event are going to be memorial, the actual granite marble memorial free, which means I'm going to have to come up with a solution to mimic the all the names wherever we go. So if we're in the city hall for Veterans Day, then I'm going to bring those names and put them up on the screens. And if we end in Oakview, we're going to have some sort of printed out thing. Maybe we sort of recreate in a smaller printed out version of the memorial with the names on there too. But either way, we're going to make sure that both events have all the names that would otherwise be on that memorial at both of the events, because that's why we're here in the first place.
Okay, and then when is the Ruck 22 thing? I hadn't seen anything on that either lately.
So I think we always said that it's going to be the Saturday before Veterans Day, and Veterans Day falls on a
Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Wednesday. So that would be Saturday the 7th.
Okay.
And so the Saturday, it's always going to be the Saturday before Veterans Day. So Saturday the 7th is going to be Ruck 22. And then the 11th, obviously, is going to be a Veterans Day ceremony.
Okay. Now, last and not least, I'm gonna read you something because I'm gonna send this out as soon as this meeting is over.
Sure.
I mean, I'm a part of the Royal Oak Veterans Events Committee.
Mm-hmm.
On this committee, we've got 4 veterans. We've got a police sergeant. We've got a businesswoman from Royal Oak. We've got a City of Royal Oak worker. And who did I miss here?
Me.
4 veterans, businesswoman. Huh?
What am I? I'm just.
I put Cynthia down as a businesswoman. Oh, and then I've got an attorney's representative.
And Eileen,
And then I've got an attorney's
Royal
representative.
Canadian, yeah.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
Then I have an attorney's representative. I didn't put that in there. Okay? Here's what I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you an email, and it's concerning theft of property and desecration of flags at the Royal Oak American Legion post number 253. And here's what I wrote. And there's 2 pictures attached. I'm sorry that Mike Sherman, Max Moylan, and Sergeant Tykow are not on this call. I want you all to be aware of this. We have 4 veterans, a businesswoman, a police officer, and a City of Royal Oak worker on this committee. I can't apologize for the graphic words written on the flags on the pictures attached. Over the weekend, 2 signs supplied by the Royal Oak Police Department to show our support for our police were stolen and not returned. A number of flags memorializing fallen police officers were taken from our post, desecrated, and returned to the property for us to see them. The cuckoos responsible for this are not only in Portland, Seattle, Chicago, Atlanta, and Minneapolis. They're right down the street. And I just pushed the send button. So if you look at your email, you're going to see what kind of cuckoos we got in Royal Oak. And I hope to hell that they don't hit the VFW or anybody else with all their trash.
I see.
John, I'm really sorry that this happened. I mean, it's heartbreaking.
It is, and I don't want to make any political statements or whatever. I'm just trying to tell everybody.
It's heartbreaking.
Be aware that we got a bunch of cuckoos around, and they're around us.
Yep. No, this is
Gotcha.
And I'm sorry that this happened. One of the things that I'm looking at these pictures, the immaturity of even the writing. This looks like, my hope is that, whoever did this, has a lot of growing up to do still. This doesn't, I hope, it's my hope that this is just some, horrible, immature, not really thinking about things, as opposed to a reflection of Royal Oak itself. I think that, as everybody knows, everybody around here knows an officer. Everybody knows, we love our police. So yeah, this is
Heartbreaking.
Well, one of our members has an officer who's on the police department.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at these signs and what they wrote, and I was hoping seriously that they don't know, whoever wrote these things do not know this police officer and his father.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure who, yeah, I'm.
Well, like I said, I just want you to be aware of it.
Okay.
You know, with all the cameras around, I'd be surprised if they couldn't find, I don't know where these flags were at your post, but I'd be shocked. You're
Well,
right
we
there.
already looked at the cameras that we have, but unfortunately, we don't have any right on the very front part of the building, but that's being taken care of right now. And that's where they
Okay.
were at. They were right out on the street.
Well, it's unfortunate that we have to have cameras to protect our property.
Yeah,
And
I understand.
I feel
Because
bad
I'd like
about
to
it.
find them.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah,
Anyhow.
there's all of us who took an oath to protect somebody else's freedom of speech. Yeah, but there's a difference between freedom of speech and destruction. So
You
yeah,
took the words right out of my mouth. We all
Yep,
raised our hand and took that oath years ago.
Yeah, it's one of the things I've always said is, we vow to protect other people's freedom of speech, even if we don't agree with it. But that doesn't mean that I certainly don't have to agree with anything
Right.
they write. So, but I appreciate you bringing that up, and I'm sorry I had to go through that.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. Sorry to do it, but
No, I'm glad you brought it up. I really
It
am.
really is good to know what we're
see,
dealing
people
with.
need to be aware of that.
For
And
sure.
I'm really sorry in one respect that Sergeant Tykal wasn't on the call, because I know we made a police report. But
Yep.
they should really be upset that they took those police, we support our police signs, they took them and stole them. They didn't return them.
Yep. God, I've got one in my front yard.
Be careful, watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. I support everybody on all sides, and I've got my, we love and support our Royal Oak Police right on my front yard. So, but,
Okay.
I appreciate that. And as a matter of fact, I'll make sure that, Steve, sees these. So,
I sent him, he's copied in on it.
okay, great. Thank you.
You bet.
All right.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Second.
yeah. So 8:51. I greatly appreciate everybody's time. I know we went a little bit long, and we covered a lot of stuff here, but I think we've got a lot of takeaways that we're going to come back with next time. So can I get a second for
I
adjourn?
got second. I second the motion. Just need
All
to
right.
say
All in
approve it.
favor of adjourning for the night?
Aye.
Aye.
Good seeing you
Aye.
all. Really good seeing you all. Good night.
I come
All
right.
down.
Thank
See
you
you.
very much. Thank you as always.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.